Welcome to the Fantasy Formula One podcast. I'm your host, Paul, and tonight we're doing the driver bio for Lando Norris, the number 4 driver from McLaren. McLaren had a really great season. It evolved rapidly, and they ended up doing really, really well. So we'll just jump right into it. So because McLaren is good, but Lando Norris is a little bit of a newer driver, right? So he started out at 11.2 million, increased 8.6 million over the course of the year, and finished off at 19.8. And for those of you playing at home, that means he finished higher than Fernando Alonso. He finished higher than Esteban Ocon. He was right underneath Carlos Sainz. He was right underneath George Russell. He was twice the value of Yuki Tsunoda. He was just under Sergio Perez. He was 1 million less than Sergio Perez, who took second place in the championship. So it was a great evolution for McLaren for both of their drivers. But let's go ahead and jump in and talk about Lando Norris here. So for the first round, he qualified 11th, finished 17th, and got -1 points. Not impressive at all. Everybody at this point, nobody's money was backing, fantasy-wise, was backing Lando Norris. Then for the second round, qualified 19, finished 17, and got 7 points. Okay, fine. Then for the third, qualified 13, finished 6, and walked away with 19. This got everybody's attention, but I remember thinking, nah, it's just a fluke, right? Everybody has good races eventually. Well, round number 4, Azerbaijan, qualified 7th, finished 9th, got 0 points. All right, kind of proved myself right. Round 5, Miami, qualified 16th, finished 17, got 1 points. Again, nothing crazy going on. Round 6 didn't exist. Round 7, qualified 10, finished 9. Fine, got 6 points. Got his first two FIA championship points. Good. Round 8 in Spain. Qualified 3rd. Everybody's like, what? Finished 17th. No good. Negative 2 points for Spain. Round 9 in Canada. Qualified 7. Again, now they're getting this one lap pace down pretty good. They can't let it make it translate into the race. Qualified 7, finished 13, got 2 points. Then in Austria, qualified 4, finished 4. Wait, what? What can he do? Got 29 points, which was amazing. And then in Great Britain, qualified 2nd, finished 2nd, got 38 points. Everyone's starting to now stand up and take notice, right? But I was late to the party. This is one of my mistakes I made in 2023, is I still didn't believe that there was actually a change in McLaren, right? I thought that he just got lucky twice. Well, no. Round 12 came, qualified 3rd, got 2nd, right behind Max Verstappen, got 29 fantasy points. Then in Belgium, qualified 7th, finished 7th, got 15. Netherlands, qualified 2nd, finished 7th, got 25. Then Italy, round 15, qualified 9, finished 8. Got 9 points. Round 16 in Singapore. Again, this is the race that Max Verstappen did not do well in. Qualified 4th, finished 2nd behind Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris finished handily ahead of Max Verstappen. He got 2nd. So there's podium. He got 30 points, and at that point, everybody now is looking at him going, wow, this guy is worth $10 million, and he just got 2nd place in a Grand Prix. You got to jump in on that. If you weren't already, then you're in on it now. Just in time for round number 17, qualified 3rd, finished 2nd, again behind Max Verstappen for 31 points. In Qatar, qualified 10, finished 3rd, got 41 points. This is a great single case study to show that the best way to get fantasy points, you don't want somebody necessarily who starts at the top and finishes at the top. Yes, Max Verstappen is handily dominant, 40 to 60 points constantly. That's great. I'm not bashing it. But what I'm saying is when you get one of these drivers that's worth 10, 15 million, qualifies 10, finishes 3rd, he gets 41 points. 41 points from a $11 million driver, probably closer to this point, $15, $16 million. Then on to round 19, Texas qualified 19. Oh, this is it. This is it. Are you ready for this? Qualified 19, finished second with 46 fantasy points. Boom. Round 20, Mexico qualified 18, finished fifth with 48 fantasy points. And keep in mind, this is the same dude who wasn't putting up any points at the beginning of the season. So qualified 8, finished. Then in round number 21, Brazil qualified third, finished second with 57 fantasy points. In Las Vegas, qualified 16, got the DNF on the second lap because he hit a cover. So there's so much downforce between the car and the ground. There's a thing called the Venturi effect, right? And it's the same reason. I don't think I have a piece of paper around here, do I? The Venturi effect is as speed increases, pressure decreases, right? So let me see if I can do an example here. I have a piece of paper here that doesn't have important stuff on it. Come on. Here we go. So if you've ever played this game, right, where you blow on the paper and you blow on the paper and the paper pulls up to where the airstream is, and you can hold the paper in front of your mouth and you blow on it and the paper blows up. Well, that's because as the air speed goes over the paper, it creates a low pressure and it sucks the paper up. Well, that's exactly what happens over a plane wing. As the air goes over, it goes faster over the wing than under. That faster air creates low pressure on top of the wing and it makes the airplane climb. In these race cars, it's the exact same thing. They're so close to the ground that as the air goes underneath them, it sucks the car to the ground. And in that low pressure zone, these cars actually handle better the faster they go. You know how when you're driving your car and you want to slow down for a turn? In F1, most of the time, they want to speed up for a turn so that way they get better traction. Anyway, he pulled so much suction driving down the track that it pulled up a cover and it hit the car, totaled his car. But it's not just him. That same race, Nico Hülkenberg, Yuki Tsunoda, they all got smoked. And but yeah, so that put him out of the race, and that's what sealed my fate in my private friends league, because I had Lando Norris. And he went out, and the other guy had, I think it was Leclerc or Sainz. Either way, they did great. So then in Abu Dhabi, Lando Norris qualified 13, finished fifth for 22 points, and that rounded out the season. Going ahead and going to talk about all the rest of the stats real quick. He, raced 22 races, passed 115 cars, 7 podiums, which is 30%, right? Huge for a value driver. Some of you start out as a value driver. Top 10 finishes, 72% of the time he finished in the top 10, which is amazing. Only had one DNF, and that was because of the manhole in Las Vegas, or the drain pipe, or whatever it was. He got a fastest lap award. He had 5 driver of the days because he was doing so well, and because driver of the days equal points for us in Fantasyland. End of the year cost was 19.8 million with 466 fantasy points. Just to let you know, 466. The only people who had more fantasy points than him were Lewis Hamilton at 506. And Sergio Perez at 581, and then Max Verstappen at 1,014. So from not being able to get across the finish line early in the season to being in top 5, all for starting out at 11 million. Amazing. 1.27 points per million for the season, and that's at the 20 million at the end value. That's not at the initial value, which these points would just be even higher. So I don't care what the what the actual fantasy website says. I don't think they said that he was on the dream team. I don't remember. But going into 2024, keep an eye on McLaren, because I think they're going to come in at a higher value based on this performance here. I don't think they're going to start out at excuse me, I don't think they're going to start out at that low 11 million like they did in 2023. If they do, at least get them on one of your teams. At least get Lando Norris, and we'll talk about Oscar Piastri here soon. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out on McLaren. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with this year if they can do any semblance of repeating of last year. Well, I hope you enjoyed it and you had fun. I will see you next time. Cheers.